program. It's my honor to introduce our first speaker today, Heidi Ernst. Heidi is a 74-year-old physical therapist from Marshalltown who has long believed in practicing what she preaches to patients and has done powerlifting, swimming, and scuba diving. After her 524th dive on June 7th in the Bahamas, a shark attacked her as she was climbing the boat ladder after completing the dive. She had to have her left leg amputated below the knee at a trauma center in Miami. She also sustained an injury to her middle finger. I first spoke with her in August for the story that appears in this year's publication. She plans to get back to everything she was doing before the amputation, including her work as a physical therapist and scuba diving with the Caribbean reef sharks that she is in awe of. She has recently finished her own physical therapy, and on Friday, she began to use her prosthetic leg. She has graciously allowed me to follow her in the process, and we'll have a follow-up story about her journey in the future. For her remarks, I'm going to be asking her a few questions about her journey. While I transition to that, can we give her a quick round of applause? All right, so in your story for the publication, you talked about an experience that you had after the attack when you were on the boat going back to shore. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you learned from it?
Well, after I was bitten by the shark and managed to get back on the boat, I realized what the severity of the accident was. As I looked down and around me, all I could see was the bloodbath that I was lying in. I was unable to move my ankle and my toes, and my friend and dive master, he immediately put a tourniquet around my thigh to stop the bleeding, or else I would have bled to death. I knew that the tourniquet was necessary, even though the pain of the shark bite itself and the tourniquet was almost unbearable. I pleaded with him to not let me die. And he only nodded, and I knew that the situation was grave. Sorry. It was after that I felt myself lifting up off the boat, and I was almost floating into midair, and my arms and legs were stretched out away from my body, and I felt no pain, and it was quiet, no sound, and all I could see was the beautiful blue sky. How long was I there? I don't know. But when I came back to the boat, it was with a thud, and it was back to the pain, the blood, the agony. And I knew that my life had been saved, and in my view, God had saved my life, and that there was a plan for me. Don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure I'll find out.
Well, first on the plan was being here, right?
Right. Somebody said to me, "Oh, you probably fainted. That all is not true, or is not real." She didn't say not true. And I know that this was true. This was real for me.
What have been some of the challenges that you've faced so far in the recovery journey?
The immediate challenges were to overcome my weaknesses due to the 5 surgeries that I had and the terrible blood loss that I experienced from the bite and from the surgeries. And then learning how to walk on one leg with a walker. I had to learn to go up and down steps because I needed to be able to get into my house. And one of my biggest concerns as I was being hospitalized in Miami was, how do I get back to Iowa? And in conversation with my good friend Kat, who is in the audience, she immediately and without hesitation said, "I'm going to come and get you." And she did. And what an act of love and kindness and friendship. And of course, I had to wait for the wound to heal and the sutures to come out, and also to be fitted for a prosthetic leg, which was going to take, all in all, was going to take about 8 to 10 weeks. At home, I found several challenges, such as, just a small example, at the time it wasn't that small, but how do I get in and out of my walk-in shower? And I could not get my walker through the opening to the shower. So we brainstormed, and I decided, well, it's probably best to get in backwards and then hold onto my handrails and do my thing in the shower and then come back out. And so that's been working really well, and I will probably forever have to do that. Then the biggest challenge came, and my prosthetist had to get a pre-authorization from Medicare for my prosthetic leg, and this was promptly denied. And I was just so amazed that Medicare would deny a prosthetic leg for someone who's been hopping around on one leg for 5 months. And after 3 weeks of the appeals going back and forth, they finally approved it, and as of Friday, I now am a proud owner of my new leg. Through all this, I had to learn how to be patient. That was a big thing for me. And not only with the healing and the recovery, but also with gaining strength, gaining endurance, gaining balance, not being able to do the things that I was doing just 5 months earlier. And again, learning to walk with my prosthesis. And then I also learned that I needed to, and that I was able to advocate for myself throughout this whole process.
And while a lot of people are not necessarily going to relate to your specific circumstances, what advice do you have for others who might be going through a difficult time in their lives?
Well, first I'd like to just mention, and this might be something that you've gone through, that would have gone through your mind, was asking myself, why me? How did I deserve this? What did I do? Am I being punished? Why would this shark attack my leg and almost tear it off? And shark bites and shark attacks are very, 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 very rare, and I happen to be the lucky one. And so I asked all these questions early on, and of course there was no answer to it. And so instead my questions became, what does God have planned for me? What will I and what can I accomplish in my lifetime? And what kind of changes can I make? Again, I don't have the answers yet, but trusting in God and trusting in myself, I will get through this. And what have I learned from all of this so far was to accept the love that people have given me, the help that I have received from friends of friends, from total strangers, and having to learn how to show gratitude for all of this help, for the caring and the love that I've received, and most importantly, being grateful for this new life. And my best advice would be to remain positive, to never look back, to not play reruns and reviews of what has happened. Trying not to be the victim, quote unquote, and keep moving forward and enjoying every day of my life and of your life. Accepting help and being grateful for it, and showing gratitude for everything that comes your way, good or bad, because lessons can be learned from either one. And keeping and having a sense of humor and not taking self too seriously. And with that, I really wanted to introduce my leg to you. And it... Thank you. And it actually has a name, and it is Chomp.
Well, thank you very much, Heidi, for your remarks, and I also just want to publicly thank you for letting me follow along with your journey. So thank you very much to Heidi.
Thank you.